This is Katie.
And this is Derrick.
Welcome to the Break Room.
Welcome back to another episode of the Break Room. I'm Derrick.
I'm Katie.
And this is
The Break Room.
Listen, yo, what's up, girl? How you doing? Drip, wet, swag.
Grab a pen and a pad.
Hey.
Like for this.
Today we're talking about kid vernacular and why it's so important to keep up with it. Now, I know some adults that try to do the thing and they look mad corny and mad cheesy.
I mean, that's the thing. I like to take the appropriate ones and make them so uncool.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when Bay came on the scene, and in 2013, I remember a kid was we took a poem and we put it in, it was like a Shakespeare or something, and then we put it in hip hop language because that was so fun. Okay. And they kept being and then the Bay, this, and that. And I was like, what? And they're like, that before anyone else. I was like, oh my gosh. And it was so fun. And I'm like, A's over Bays. And they're like, Miss Kinder, no.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
And I was like, hey, is Bay still there? And they're like, no.
It's because we try so hard, right? It's like, I figured it out. I learned what it was, and I want to use it.
Yeah. But then also, you got to do it because you're going to get tripped up. You're going to get recorded because you got to teach every single day like you're being recorded because more than likely you might be.
Yeah, that's true.
So act like there is a camera up in the ceiling every day.
Ooh,
because if not, that was a good tip. Because if not, they're going to trip you up and you're going to say something you don't mean. You're going to be filmed. You're going to go viral. It's a whole thing.
Oh my gosh. Viral.
So it matters because they matter and the words and you got to be spending regular time on Urban Dictionary because I have...
Okay, wait, don't tell your story yet. Okay. Don't tell it. Okay. I'm going to tell my story, which is going to suck, but it's going to set your story up to be way better. So I would do little things like when kids would come into the room, I would move out of their way and I'd be like, you, I just
Soldier boy.
I was trying to be, and they were like, oh,
you were hitting them folks.
It was so bad.
You're pulling up on the block.
They was like, Coach D. They call me Coach D.
Like Millie Rock.
Hey, how y'all doing today? What we talking about today? We're Millie Rock right now.
We need video of in here.
We should have video. We're dancing. And so I used to try so hard. Now I just don't. I don't even try. I feel like this is what I've learned is that the ones that come natural, I need to be able to identify what they're saying, but using it is different. I'm cool enough as Coach D, as Derrick.
You are.
To not have to dabble in it, but I need to know what's popping, right? And so as we were doing our show notes today, Katie was like, I got a great story. I got one. I was like, you sure? She was like, I got one. So hit us with the story real quick.
Okay.
Don't be nervous.
That's a good one. I told this one at my recent PD, and some Paradigm Shift people were there, so they know this story. One being Jared Murr. Okay. Hey, Jared Murr. Here I am. I'm teaching with this woman who is precious. She is the hardest worker. She is there early. She stays late. She puts everything into this profession, but she struggled to kind of understand who she was teaching. Yeah. So connecting was hard. And so she was playing a Kahoot game. Do you know what Kahoot is? Yes. Okay. Teacher tip, don't let them choose their own nickname, okay? Because you freeze that board, you tell them to put their first name in or you ain't playing.
Yeah.
And my kids know, first name, one emoji. They get one emoji. Right. And so she thought she could let them pick a nickname. And so I walked by her class with a couple other teachers, and the kids are losing their minds. Yeah. They are laughing. I could see a couple of them filming, whole thing. So we kind of stopped and listened, and somebody had made their name Thought. THOT. Right. And she is like, I love her. She is like, thought is on the board. I know. The thought's in second place. The thought turns over. And the kids are dying.
Oh my God.
And she was devastated to find out that it meant that hoe over there.
Yeah.
And then she got courted, and it got like, it was even like, they like sped it up and like made her like repeat it. And it was like, the thought on the board, on the.
Oh my gosh.
And then it kind of went a little viral. Yeah. And then here she is sitting in front of the superintendent, bawling. She's devastated.
Yeah.
That's why. That's one of the main reasons why. Yeah. They matter. Their culture matters. The culture of kids, teenagers, they matter. Mm-hmm. Keep up. Yeah. For that reason. But keep up for this one too.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't work there anymore. She works with elementary school students, which is a much better fit.
Was that middle school, high school?
Yeah, that was middle school. That 7th graders can be like...
Middle school is tough sometimes.
Yeah. So bless her heart. But I just think you are going to get tripped up saying something that you don't mean. I just learned a new one. Yeah. Your Riz. Do you know about Riz?
I don't know about Riz.
You don't?
I know about mid. What's Riz?
Mid means just like,
yeah, like
mid. Yeah, they use that one. Riz means like if your Riz is bad, you can't flirt, you don't look good, like you're just, it's bad. So my son's, I was talking about his friend's Riz is bad. Riz. And then getting sturdy.
No. What's that?
That's dancing. I learned it too.
Really?
It's like you're good at dancing. You're getting sturdy.
What about ick?
Ick?
Yeah.
And I don't know it. Yeah, like ick gross?
Like ick, yeah, like ick. That's ick. Like ick.
I haven't heard that. Yeah, I mean, I know what ick means, but like
it's like this.
It's not like
it's like ick for me. Like ick. Like he chews with his mouth open. Like that's an ick.
That's an ick.
We sound real old right now.
I think that I was doing my son, and you were your daughter.
I was just now.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I did. I saw it. You've transformed into her.
Yep. I shrunk 7 inches and grew long hair.
That was it.
And people used to say she looks like me. I was like, I'm sorry. I apologize to her to this day. I'm like,
does she look like you?
She's starting to look more like her mom. Yeah. That's good. So when I think about, you said something really important. You said their experiences matter, their culture matters. Why is it important as teachers, as educators, as professionals to be tapped into the culture of the students that we're teaching?
Well, I think you have to lean in to the things that are going on around them. You can pretend it's not happening. You can pretend that you can teach gerund phrases like you did 20 years ago, but how are you reaching your students in relevance? Yeah. Or you can teach that book because you learned it in high school and you want to teach it. Yeah. It's a beautiful book. I get it. But is it making sense and being relevant for our kids? Right. And I think that's important. Like when Black Panther died, I leaned into it. Yeah. I taught about it. We read articles about him. Yeah. Same thing with Kobe Bryant. Yeah. I mean, what is around them is important. Yeah. And they're going to tune out otherwise. And you can't sit up there and have you seen the TED Talk by Rita Pearson? Oh, it's iconic.
Go look at it. Say it one more time for us.
The TED Talk by Rita Pearson. If you're an educator, you've seen it. Okay. And basically she's like, she had a colleague come up to her and be like, I teach the standards. They're supposed to learn it. End of story. And she was like, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but kids don't learn from people they ain't like. And it's the most iconic education TED Talk ever. Yeah. And she's not with us anymore. I think she died in 2014. But I think it is important that you hold the kids to high expectations, that you know what's going on around you. Right. So much more than you need to learn how to solve for X. Yeah, yeah. There's a guy, speaking of a TED Talk, there's a guy who owned a company, and I know I'm going to mess this story up, but I want to get to the point of it. There's a guy that owned a company in Brazil, I believe it was. It might have been Colombia. I think it was Brazil. But he started finding out that his employees were... his retention was low because employees weren't happy. And he was like, how do people go throughout life, apply for a job that they hate, get the job that they applied for that they knew they hate, and then quit because they hate it, right? So he was like, I'm tired of seeing this cycle just not only as a businessman,
whose bottom line suffers because of low retention, but as a father, as a community member, and so he started this school, and the school didn't follow a traditional route. He taught them how to do like everyday things, and then he attached the learning component to it. And so he was like, try to bake a cake without knowing measurements, or try to fix a bike, or fix a car without knowing angles and, things like that. And so what he started finding during that time, he started paying people to go learn to become what they actually wanted to do. And so they could use their vacation to go back to school. They could use their vacation to go do the things.
That's really cool. What's his name?
I'll find it for you. I'll find it for you. Yeah.
In the fact check.
In the fact check. And what he found is that not only did his retention go up, but when people left, they didn't go on to other jobs they hated. They left to go do the thing they loved.
That's pretty cool.
And so he took this model that he was using for those employees and created a school. So they, instead of like getting credits, they got pins. And you had to get 125 pins. And the pin was like, start a fire, fix a bike, change a tire. And it was like all these things that you had to do in order to get the lesson, in order to graduate.
I love that.
100% graduation rate, like the first 5 years, something like that. And then all the people who graduated got jobs that they kept for the next 5 years. And so they weren't like bouncing from job to job. They spent all their time figuring out what they were good at. And then once they figured out what they were good at doing, they did the thing.
Yeah, that's what school should be.
And so when I think about it, it's like, how can I as an educator, as a teacher, make this so applicable that I push kids towards what they're good at. I figure out what they want to do through this explorative process. That way they don't waste a lot of time applying for jobs that they know they hate. They get the job and they quit because they hate it, right? Yeah. And so if I'm a teacher and it's like, I want to be able to figure out how to make this come alive for this student, then I'm going to do what Katie Kinder does, and I'm going to use contemporary music, and I'm going to use the art, I'm going to use the movies, and I'm going to use the books, and I'm going to
project-based learning. That's what it is.
I'm going to pick out musicians that they identify, actors that they identify, that they relate to, and I'm going to put my lesson through that filter so they're more likely and more apt to grab it and hold on to it.
Yes. And it's like we remember experiences.
Yeah.
We don't remember that subject-verb agreement. We remember.
That's the way she just threw that in there. That was a little flex. That was a slight teacher flex.
That was a little flex. I feel kind of weird about it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and it's hard because we're given standards that maybe don't align.
Yeah.
My son was so mad the other day. He's like, I need to know when in life I'm going to have to solve for X. That's what I need to know.
That's what I want to know.
And I'm like, he's like, do you solve for X? I'm like, no. And I'm like, hey, babe, to my husband, do you solve for X? He's like, no. I mean, he's in finance. Yeah. And he doesn't solve for X. So why are we solving for X?
Yeah.
I don't know. So it has to be applicable or they're going to turn off. And it's hard because you're boxed into these standards because standardized tests come at the end of the year. Yeah. The school is graded on them. Yeah. It affects the kids. They can get an elective taken away from them.
Wait. You're getting into our next episode. Our next episode
okay, stop.
Is why so much testing. Yeah, don't.
Okay. I went on like a roll.
You did. It was downhill.
The break room is done.
Are we done? Today. Okay. I think that was the bell. We just heard the bell. That was the bell. Thank you all so much for joining. Of course, I can't let you go, and I can't let you get off of the cry couch without a question. We forgot our question. Are you ready for the question?
Yeah, I'm ready. Do you remember the question?
I do remember the question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's, trying to keep up with culture. There's this cool kid in the classroom that is saying the things about.
He's a bully.
He's a bully, and he's talking about kids. It's a special needs situation. And this teacher said she's never actually caught him doing and saying the things. He's sneaky, but the other students tell her. So when we're talking about sometimes it's a culture of joking and a culture of playing and a culture of bullying that is accepted. But this teacher is really concerned about this kid maybe getting away because he's athletic and he's handsome and, all these different things. So where do we tell this teacher, I got a bully? I can't catch him. I know he's doing it because the other kids are telling. What do I do about it?
Gosh, I would do some triage. I would be talking to the person that he is hurting with his words. Okay. I would be talking to the bully. Yeah. I might even have middle school kids, young high school, they're going to tell on each other. So I might have them
That's
do.
like the third time you said that this episode.
I know.
They're gonna tell.
They don't tell.
Yeah.
I might have them do a silent rite about what's happening. And it's anonymous and you can turn it in. And if I see like a theme and I'm sitting up there, like I've done this when they tore up the room, when a sub came, and I even had kids filming other kids with my skeleton hand or with a prop. And they were like riding it like a pony. I wasn't there. And then this happened and they're telling each other, they're filming. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh. So I came back the next day and I said, okay, we're going to do a silent rite. Yeah. You need to name names. Here you go. And then I just sit up there and just like, so I might do that. And I would pass it along. I would definitely pass it along to a counselor. I might shadow the kid the whole day. Maybe you get a sub or somebody to cover for you. And the kid who's bullying, like, I don't know. I think that, and do we believe that hurt people hurt people? What's going on with that kid that he feels like he needs to make fun of someone who lives with special needs? I mean, that's insane.
Right.
So there would be a lot of different things that I would do, but nothing makes me more upset as a teacher when a kid with power hurts somebody who doesn't have any power. Yeah. That's upsetting. Yeah.
Okay. So if you're listening to this and you're finding yourself in this very similar situation where you know a kid is doing something, you got the word of other students, and they're taking advantage of not only their influence and their power, but they're using it to put other students down. You got to do some triage. You got to ask around. You got to confirm, maybe shadow, follow, even talk to the student, him or herself. And but keep in mind that the student may also be going through some things as well. And then push come to shove, after we've done all of our stuff, then we go to a counselor. Yeah. And we got to figure it out, right? Yeah. Because it's not that we want the kid to be kicked out. Right? We want the kid to stay, but not stay under those conditions.
Right. Well, and yeah, usually it's something's going on with them. Yeah. Like, what is going on with you? Why are you being so ugly? And then they might cry and be like, well, this is going on. And that happens a lot.
Yeah. Got it. Thanks so much for hanging out. As you go back into the hallways to your classroom, make sure you exercise hallway leadership. This is Derrick.
This is Katie.
And this is The Break Room.